In this 7th episode of Let's Talk, Bernard Conlon reflects upon the fact that he believes we're no longer firefighting politically, but escalating crisis after crisis. Have we learned anything, or are we just firefighting?
You often hear this, if you listen to the news, you often hear this cliche about lessons being learnt after every scandal. Even the fire in London. One of the recurring sound bites that you hear journalistically is lessons being learnt. Well, I don't know how long it takes to learn a lesson, but the same lessons seem to be repeating themselves. I don't think we are learning the lessons. And an historian friend of mine once said that the only lesson of history is that we don't learn the lessons of history. I'm not even sure if we're firefighting. I think we're in I may be wrong, but we just seem to be in a situation of escalating crisis. And that part of that has given rise to, a populism, a fraying of the political process in North America and in Europe to some extent. Populism has arisen. People don't trust mainstream politics anymore. We had a broad consensus in the political systems for quite a long time, but ordinary people seem to have, developed a feeling that mainstream politics is not dealing with their life issues. And what happens is we're getting the rise of a sort of populism, and the political systems are becoming more fragmented. The world is a small place now, and there's so much technology. We hear so much about cyber war and hacking. The relationships between, the various parts of the world have become so integrated and close. Economically, the West has become very integrated with China. An awful lot of Western companies have set up manufacturing bases in China, but that has led to various unforeseen consequences. And all of this, I think, has led to escalating issues. I think we've reached the stage now where the next 10, 20 years has to be solution rather than firefighting, because with climate change and with unmanaged mass migration and things like artificial intelligence, the economic and social coherence of our own societies is not in good shape.
Well, the AI situation and the automation of so much of the world, and the fact that the rich are talking about this universal fund or whatever it is for everybody, that's going to have a major impact on anybody trying to find work regardless of where they are in the world. How important is that?
Well, look, we have to find solutions. I am reasonably optimistic by nature. We've always lived in crisis. I mean, my parents' generation lived through, the Second World War. As I explained my own experience of being a child and a teenager, the economies were not particularly good at that stage. There's always been crisis. I think the situation we're in now, it just seems to be escalating. But crisis is always the mother of invention. We absolutely have to find a solution, because if we don't, we're all in a sinking ship. Science and technology is producing new wonders every day. But we have to find a way of managing the relationships between the smaller integrated world we have. The fad for globalization and the completely after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it was believed that a neoliberal modern version of capitalism, of pure market economics had won out and would provide the solution. Well, it would seem it hasn't. We do have to be considered in terms of our political dogmas and ideologies, and we have to create solutions. We have to find a way that people throughout this integrated world now can have a meaningful life. How we do that is very challenging. But I think there are models. I think a much more managed market economy and a much stronger social economy coexisting may be one way forward. But unbridled consumer market economics and based on a never-ending cycle of consumption looks as if it could be a road that brings us to a very unhappy place. But I'm convinced there are solutions, but we have a small window of opportunity to make the process of politics a process of solution. And it means we have to really, the dialogue is part of that, but we have to be careful about having a lot of the preconditions that we've always had. We have to be, we really need to get into some fresh thinking, and it's based on a basic humanity. We must have respect for other people, but we also have to manage processes. The migration process in Europe, for example, if it's not properly handled or managed, it could overwhelm Europe. The whole nature of our societies in the space of a few years, if something like that's not managed, could be completely destabilized and overwhelmed. And there's a lot of competing points of view, and getting like a real solution for things like that is the issue. But as I said, I think if 20, 30 years ago, there was great opportunity to create cooperation, and we didn't do that. But we don't have any choice now. If we don't find solutions, there's growing conflict, and there's also a growing stock of nuclear weapons in the world. There's climate change. It's a very, very destabilized scenario that we have now, and as I say, the window of opportunity is getting narrower to find a solution that I think we're capable of, because science and technology brings out solutions day and daily. Our social and political processes and interactions have been lagging behind our abilities in science and technology. I think if we have to try to bring all of these spheres of human interaction up to par, because we're only going to have one shot at saving the planet, and that's literally what we're talking about now.
We have more on the way, so please subscribe to this channel and check out the link below if you'd consider becoming a patron to help us keep making more content. Thanks for watching.